Okay, Miami, going into week number 7, Dolphins are 1-5. Never thought that would be the case. Um, Made an earlier video hoping for that guy right there. So what's the state of the Dolphins? Currently, the Dolphins are number 30. There's only 32 teams now. Number 30 in offense and number 30 in defense. So what does that mean? How could they have such a good year last year and then end up with that, this year being 1-5? Can we turn it around? They could possibly turn it around, but Miami had a lot of good breaks last year. Many good breaks. They had many turnovers. And we got turnovers this year, but not at the amount that we were getting last year. And um, you know, the Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, even though they were, Xavier was getting turnovers last year and people were opportunistic. This year is just everything is has been a bad decision. Getting rid of the punter, Matt Hawk was our punter. This punter we got now, I mean, it seems like the guy can't kick the ball further than 35 yards. He's doing horrible. And, you can discount it, and some people will look and they'll say, oh, a punter is not that important. Or why would you draft a punter? Or why would you draft a kicker? It's like, are you serious? You know how important it is to have a kicker at the end of the game? You know how important it is to have a punter that can possibly change field position of 20 plus yards? I mean, how many receivers each possession or whatnot can possibly do something for more than 20 yards a clip? It's that important. You got to have a good punter. You got to have a good kicker. When you send out a kicker to go, you have a 50-yard field goal, like that is needed in the NFL. If you got a guy where I think the Dolphins, last week he could have kicked they could kick field goals and the guy misses. And the week before they had the opportunity to kick a field goal, and even though it was a blowout, um, not even to do it, even though it turned out good. I mean, the ball was on. I think they pinned him on the 1 yard line, but you got to have that. So just things of that nature where there were good decisions last year, and everything played out well. This year, they aren't. You're not getting those breaks. You're not getting those calls. You're not getting that where against the Raiders, obvious pass interference in the end zone. You're not getting that. So those little things, when you constantly walk on the edge, that's when you have a problem. And when you have a team that's 30 in offense and 30 in defense, what do you expect? There's, why such a bad offense? Like, what's the difference between Jacoby Brissett and Tua? Yeah, besides one's big, one's small. One's got a better arm, one's got a fast arm. Um, the fact is that they both, but I'd say Jacoby Brissett, he extends the field more than Tua does, and at least he's he could take hits and possibly move out of the pocket or do quarterback sneaks or something along those lines. And you could see it when Brissett came in last week in on a fourth down, and everyone thought it's going to be a sneak, and he hits a guy for 20 something yards. It's probably one of the biggest plays one of the bigger plays that we had. But again, that was Tua going, and these guys going up against the Jaguars, which isn't a great team. So, being a Dolphin fan and watching this team, we need to really take a inventory of what we have. I'm still a big fan of Preston Williams. I think the guy is probably the highest ceiling if he could play. And that's a big if, and everyone's getting tired of waiting. But I mean, it's the same type of thing with Devontae Parker. But if you build a team with a bunch of broken guys that are, let's just not say broken. guys that are constantly on the injured reserve or constantly missing or questionable, or that's pretty bad. So hoping, like, if that was an airplane, you wouldn't get on it. If it was like, it's questionable whether it's going to make it, and you're like, yeah, let me get on that. You're not going to do that. You want something that's sure, something that's going to show up every week and that you can count on. Dolphins like, nah, let's get the guy who may or may not be here. But you don't, if you go buy this. That's why I was thinking about buying season tickets this year. But am I going to pay money on season tickets and go and invest when you don't know what kind of product you're going to get, thinking you're going to go watch a bunch of stars and all of a sudden everybody's injured? I wouldn't want to do that. And there's plenty of people. That's why you look in the stands and there's going to be a lot of empty seats. Now, the only thing that's going to get those people back in the seats is if there's a shakeup. And I think that shakeup is going to be Deshaun Watson. That's probably the move you're going to have to make. Yeah, and Tua, he'll be all right, but he isn't going to be a Deshaun Watson. So you got to look at it. So it's like, oh well, you're 30th ranked in offense and you're 30th ranked in defense. Do you think it's going to be that big of a difference? Yeah, I think it could be that big of a difference because all of the NFL, everything comes together. When that's how you can have a team that wins 4 games one year and then wins 12 games the next year. You look at it and you say, oh, okay, well, how's that? One players, they make that big a difference. Rodgers didn't play one year and the team wasn't any good. And then he comes back and they're contenders. You look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's taking his team to the playoffs, taking his team to the Super Bowl. He gets injured. What happens? They get the first pick in the draft. They get Andrew Luck. And then Andrew Luck comes in, and next thing you know, they're like going to the playoffs. The NFL, you can turn around. You have to have, a synergy. You got to have where something with your team, where your team buys in, and they all believe in the goal, and they all mesh. That's a goal for a football team. Some people think, and once you get that and you get confidence, it breeds confidence. That's why when a team, like, they constantly lose or they constantly lose in the last second, that's going through their head. That's why they lose, because they believe they're going to lose. They believe something bad's going to happen. And being a Miami Dolphin fan, that's what we believe. We may not believe that at the beginning of the year, but we're like, yeah, we're going to be pretty good. But when you think that, then you got to have the players that are going to show up. If you have you're constantly shuffling your offensive line, you're doing this, you're doing that. That's no good. You need to get something, figure it out, and move on with it. Tua, you think that the guy's going to be good. Look, he's never going to grow an extra 3 inches. He's never going to get a stronger arm. Okay? And he's never going to stop getting injured. That's just what's going to keep happening in his career. So get somebody that is a proven commodity. Get someone who whose ceiling is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Everybody knows this. So the Dolphins, they could turn it around. You get an offense that can keep the ball, then there's possibility then the defense gets more rest. We still have a smaller defense. Now our line is pretty good, but our cornerbacks who are high paid, and do you think they're going to cover man, and the safeties will just kind of be there, and you have some good linebacker play, but the problem is the Dolphins linebacker play has been atrocious. Horrible. Their line play is not bad, but their defensive ends aren't doing anything. Ogba's he's doing pretty good. Jalen Phillips has no handwork. He still doesn't. All he knows how to do is bull rush. Meanwhile, you're watching everybody else come in, swimming, doing everything else, coming over, and he just said he gets a bull rush. And if the guy's bigger, much bigger than him, not much is going to happen. So, all the players that you think are going to pan out, or you look at, and it just seems that Chris Greer, tries to be smarter than everybody out there who knows, like, hey, how come you don't just pick this guy? We're all sitting back like, hey, pick this guy. And he's like, no, I'm going to be smarter than that. I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to trade down, and then I'm going to get Noah Ibignogany. That's what I'm going to do. That guy's going to be really good. He's so good that he barely gets on the field when our starting two quarterbacks are out and injured. And personally, this may sound bad, but I thought the Dolphins were going to lose when I knew those two cornerbacks were out. Why? Because it throws off their whole scheme. And, and if they go into a zone, and it's like you get Jerome Baker, leading tackler on the team. Why is he the leading tackler on the team? Because they throw all over the man. The guy's making open field tackles, or making tackles, tackling guys from behind, because they're converting third downs constantly on this guy. He runs behind, like he stands flat-footed. A guy will come up and shake him, and he just stands still. And then the guy goes over, the quarterback hits him, and he runs over and he tackles him. And then next thing you know, it's like a Ryan Tannehill stat. It's like, hey, look what the guy did. Look at all his tackles. That's how many third downs the guy's giving up. That's how many plays where these people are just constantly getting first downs. They see him as a weak spot. It's like when you're out there and you notice, you're like, yeah, that guy, we're going to pick on him. That's the guy we're going to pick on right now. We're going to go get our first down. And there's plenty of players on the Dolphins right now. It's almost like Rowe's a great player, but it was like him against Waller last year. They're like, yeah, we got him all day. Just let's just keep eating him up. And the Dolphins, sometimes they do that too. They'll see Parker, and Parker have a small guy on him and just say, hey, just throw me the ball. Just throw it up. I got it. But there's another one, Parker, missing. How does he get injured every play? Not every play, but, every year he gets injured. So I think the guy plays like 12, 13 games a year. He had one great year where he didn't get injured. It was amazing. But the Dolphins, they have the ability, but they really have to mesh. And they have to come up with a different identity. And this small, often injured group is not what we need. We need hitters. We need players. We need people who are going to play the full amount of games. We need people who are going to show up. And if they're proven, get them. You draft receivers. You draft running backs. You get free agents, linemen. Okay? Proven commodities. Proven players in the NFL. They already know how to play. All they got to do is get in and gel with the guy next to them, not learn. You don't need a guy learning for 3 years. Okay? You can get lucky like the Chargers and get Slater, get Herbert, and I get either lucky or they just got one heck of a scouting staff. Even though I thought Herbert would be great. I'm not going to sit here and act like I knew Slater was going to be the best player coming out, but that was a tackle. So, even I'm watching Sewell get beat up a little bit for the Lions. So, let's see what happens. 1-5. Hopefully we get Watson. We got to improve. 30th and 30th. That's pretty bad. It's like a ESPN special, 30 for 30. And the bad thing is that if we do happen to be bad, we don't have our own draft picks. We gave that draft pick. We swapped it. I believe it goes to Philly. So that's no good. We got to win. Greer and Flores need some winning. So let's hope they make the right decision. Cut ties with Tua. The guy's, he does deserve better than this, but we should have made the right choice in the draft 2 years ago. So let's see. Let's go Miami. Like, comment, subscribe. Miami Hometown Sports is Twitter handle. Go on there. I throw some things up every once in a while. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Good night.